Hey, good morning. Bright and early. Having some coffee and a cigarette, watching some ducks. So, this video is about a little trip I made yesterday to one of the Hanford reactors. It's a parks, U.S. park now, run by the Park Service. It was handed over to the Park Service from the Department of Energy, and it's part of future plans to make the Hanford Reservation into a park. And Lord knows they're doing something to clean it up, and it's better than it was. But so yesterday I took a Geiger counter attached to the SafeCast network, which is safecast.org, and I traveled and toured this tourist spot, this new national park site. Now, Geiger is a radiation detector, and they're very hard to understand what they can do because it's hard. It can't be made easily into a 5-minute video. So if you go back on that map, I have records across much of Oregon. So you can see where this meter has gone and traveled and how it responds where it goes. Once in a while you get a strange reading that you can't identify. This is part of the world we live in. These things go by every day of our lives. They were here before us and after us. These are high energy events, and a good part of them are part of life. But what isn't is when that meter goes someplace and says something different. So you drive around with it collecting reams of data, one data point every 5 seconds, and from that you can draw conclusions. Now, this meter is not very sensitive at all. It could be a little more sensitive, could be a lot more sensitive. There's a lot of things you can do. It's electronics, there's tuning you can do, but it's left stock because I'm comparing my meter to 1,000 other meters of the exact same type that are logging data onto this network. So the meters do what they do. The science behind them is deep. That's another video I'm going to try to put together. But basically it didn't surprise me when I walked into a nuclear reservation and the meter misbehaved. Now, if this meter was set up differently, if it did 1 minute logging instead of that 5-second logging, the results would have been different. And I can go back into the data and play some numbers and do statistics, but that visual presentation is it. You can disagree with the colors on the color scale that they use to present the information, but it is what it is, and it's been that way for a long time. So system stability is something to speak to. Does the system respond the same way to events? And basically the answer is yes, and the proof is in the data. So while I'm considering, after 7 years of studying this and some major prior background, it just wasn't expected. But truly what isn't expected is physicists with Geiger counters lying to us about these things and what they do and what they say and how they're used, whether it is an intentional lie or just a misunderstanding of the science and the rules for using these. I have I'll leave some doubts there. But this meter is simple. This meter counts 30 counts per minute is an average number driving around town. I could get more precise. It varies by area, but that's where we are today in this friggin' world. And yeah, that number is plus or minus about 2 points. So I'm gonna keep going. Although, to some extent, I'm done. I've proven that data can be misleading, data can be manipulated. I have not done that. Technically, I'm capable of doing a lot of things because I understand how these work, from the electronics to the sensor, to the data collection system, to the presentation layer, that's the visualization you see, and the math in between. I've looked at the software, both for the hardware and for the application presentation, and it is what it is, and it's stable, which says something to being able to trust what you're seeing. Analyzing what you're seeing, something else. So anyway, I've rambled because I'm trying to put something better together. I'm trying. But on the other hand, I've proven what I know. People can be misled by readings. And we have been misled. But the harm, how bad this is, what the effect of it is, I think I understand, but I'm not a professional in that field. So others should be discussing this, and they won't. So, hey, Fukushima on. And Mr. Nuclear Industry, quit the states' rights crap. Just frickin' stop this stuff. You're lying to us about pollution. Pollution doesn't care about states' rights. It doesn't care about the neighborhood. The corporation running that business has to care. If they friggin' don't, my grandchild's life is on the line. That's where we are. Peace friggin' out.